Well, we're excited to spend the next day together seeking the Lord and spurring each other on. And as you heard, this is our first foray into multi-site. So maybe this is a new thing for us as the Navigators. We're going to enter into some multi-site model. So Cedar Rapids campus, hey, what's up? Ames, hey, what's up? Cedar Falls, see you next time. But seriously though, as the weather forecast was developing these last few days, I began to think about how God is sovereign. He is the sovereign Lord, and we aren't. He is sovereign over the weather, and his storms remind us of his power and how weak we are at times. Today I thought of Psalm 147, 16 and 17. It says, God gives snow like wool. He scatters frost like ashes. He hurls down his crystals of ice like crumbs. Who can stand before his cold? And there's this picture of God's power in his weather, his cold weather, that we deal with sometimes in this region of the country. And we can't withstand forces of nature under God's control at times. And then I was reminded of Matthew 9, where Jesus says, the harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. Therefore pray earnestly to the Lord of the harvest to send out laborers into his harvest. And we aren't in control of that either. God is the Lord of the harvest, and he invites us to participate in his harvest. And so we trust that God will be pleased to show his power in and through ordinary people like us, through a weekend like this, that we would be spurred on to be an answer to that prayer. Just a couple more things. The theme for this weekend is generations. It's among many other sub-themes that you'll hear for the weekend. But we believe that God's word invites and calls us all to be involved in life-to-life discipleship that results in spiritual generations. Think about this. Thankfully, previous generations, all the way back from Jesus' disciples up until you sitting in this room, have embraced the call of spiritual generations. And so we have the opportunity before us this weekend to ask afresh, will we be about spiritual generations? Or are we going to be the dead end in generations flowing through the gospel? And so I trust by the fact that you are in this room, it is your heart's desire to be about spiritual generations. And so this weekend is designed toward that end, that we would cultivate a heart and trust that God will use people like us. With that, I want to invite our speakers up, Mark and Jen Rude. Let's warmly welcome them. Mark and Jen currently serve as the city director for the Navigators in Tokyo, Japan. I think it's a small village. How many people are in the village of Tokyo, Mark?
I think it's about 30 million.
30 million, okay. A few people in that harvest field. They've been serving in Japan for 17 years, and prior to that, they were actually in Nebraska for their staff and training. And so, yeah. They know most of your campus in this room. Most of the people who are sitting in this room are from that campus. They've been married for 19 years. They have 3 teenage children. And I've had the privilege of getting to know Mark through a leadership development class that the Navigators has for leaders, and he is part of the leadership team for that. He's also my cohort leader. And I've observed in Mark that he is just a bold and passionate leader. And he's motivated by leadership development. He's a sharp thinker, and he's eager to see leaders mobilized into the harvest fields. And so we're privileged to have he and Jen here this weekend. And so let me pray for you guys.